is KUHS Denver. My guest today is Dr. Ray. Dr. Ray, please pick up from where you were talking about just now with the different protocols that you have with your nutrition program over at your office.
Our office, it works from a five principle perspective. It's not just chiropractic.
Sure.
And when we say chiropractic, that's such a big can of worms. It could be any number of things, but we definitely do not do pain management care. Not to say we don't get people that show up in pain, but our goal is not to eliminate their pain, it's to restore them back to health.
Sure.
Now we do that in 5 steps. First step is knowledge and education. Hopefully they're learning things like we're talking about here. Because if they don't understand, they can't get better. Okay, they still apply a bad model into a new principle. So we have to educate them. Okay, so that's number one. Because people are leaving the medical system in mass numbers right now because it's failing them. They're doing the drugs, they're doing the surgeries, and they're not getting better. And they're frustrated. So they're not going to the medical community any longer, but they don't know where to go. And that's where we step in. Because if we can educate people to that effect, literally we can transform lives. So the knowledge, number one. Number two, the chiropractic piece. Now we do what's called structural correction. That means we take structural x-rays. We don't guess on anything. That means the x-rays taken, they lock the head in position, lock the pelvis in position, and we take our x-rays. So we know exactly where the problems are. Then we make those corrections using different styles of adjustments, depends upon what the patient needs. Everything is individualized. Yeah. Then they get custom home care exercises to stabilize the frame. So now you've got knowledge up here, the big master system, the brain. The body now can communicate with the brain through this clean nervous system. Then it activates the healing inside the body. Now what is that healing? What are those things? Those are the resources. And that's, so we have essential 1, which is knowledge. 2 is the corrective chiropractic piece. Then you have nutrition, fitness, and detoxification. On the nutrition side, which you asked me, I had to lead up to it, sure. I guess. On the nutrition piece, we don't guess in anything. Because again, when a patient comes in, they walk in with the medical mindset. What supplement, what herb do you have to fix we were talking off camera about prostate? Yeah. Well, let's throw saw palmetto at you. That's a great supplement to help you with prostate swelling. Well, do you even have prostate swelling? Why do you have prostate swelling? Let's find out why instead of throwing spaghetti at the wall and hoping something sticks and you feel better. See, we're going to test instead. So what we do, we start off with our baseline testing. We're looking for biomarkers, we call them. The first one, we use a testing group called Genova Diagnostics, and we test for missing biomarkers, so missing nutrients, we call it. Yep. Then we have toxicities. Then we build a specific protocol based upon that. Make sense?
Absolutely, yeah. So would you say that you cover everything, say, like from gut health, if it comes across to that, hormones, like we've spoken about? Mm-hmm. What else? I know you also mentioned thyroid, but that was level 5 you were speaking about. Can you speak to the other levels again of what they would be?
So our first one we run is the missing nutrients and toxicities. So we work from that baseline. Now sometimes the biomarker volume is so high because they're so sick that they need this many supplements. Well, sure. You can't put this many vitamins inside your body and expect to have it be absorbed. So much absorbable surface in your gut. Yeah. And so we break it down into smaller chunks. So we make it small enough so that the patient can absorb the nutrients through the entire program. Now what that does now is takes the person from their deficient toxic self and makes them the next level up more sufficient. Then we investigate damaged organs. And you spoke to gut, leaky gut, SIBO, irritable bowel. There's so many different words and things that mean similar. But we're going to test for that. Then we're going to develop a strategy to correct not the SIBO, not the leaky gut, not the irritable bowel, not those things, but we're going to find out why is the gut having struggles and repairing it based upon those different biomarkers. That's a blood test we run for that one. The other one is a urine test. Yeah. Then the next level is sex hormones. So we're going to run, that's a saliva test. So we're going to run and check cortisol levels with that one. We're also going to check all the sex hormones, progesterone, estrogen, testosterone. See, you can't start off, I have low T. Right. Well, let's just give you T. Well, then it's going to biotransform into estrogens, and now you're going to have estrogen problems and estrogen-based cancers. Well, that's okay. We'll just give you saw palmetto,
Right.
right?
Right.
See what I
Again,
mean?
you're just trying to use one drug to cover up another one.
Like
in
you
that
were
way.
saying, yes, exactly. So we're going to find out, why is your thyroid not, or excuse me, your testosterone levels out? Why are your estrogens out of balance?
Yep.
Estrogens, gosh, it's a miracle we even have males anymore,
Right.
because of all the xenoestrogens in our environment that come from plastic water bottles, from pesticides, herbicides, so many things that estrogens come. You know, even the female, the pill,
Yeah.
right? And what's sad, women pee in the toilet, they recycle the water, and you and I take a shower in that water, and we're absorbing those estrogens. It's crazy. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to ask you, what are your thoughts, since we're talking about sex hormones and all that, to like the connection to like social media, or the amount of time that men spend in front of electronics, and that showing in tests that their testosterone is dropping from it.
Oh, there's no question. See, there's 4 stressors the body goes under, okay? 4, and that takes care of everything, okay? Now, does genetics play a role? Of course it does.
Sure.
But it's not the primary role. Bruce Lipton, he's a neuroscientist, and he says it this way: genetics is the gun, lifestyle pulls the trigger.
Yeah.
Okay? So, for example, I've got
I
a
agree.
genetic defect inside my body. It's called myotonic dystrophy. My father died from it. My sister died from it. And I have that defect. How come I'm still here? Because my lifestyle that we teach
Absolutely.
keeps the gun. It's loaded, but I'm not going to pull the trigger. So I don't
Right.
develop the problem. See, that's that. So does it play a role? Yeah. But 4 big stressors lean towards all that. Number 1 is physical stress on the body. Now, in the day, 40 years ago when I started in practice, it was usually lifting traumas and physical type work.
Manual labor
Yeah,
was more.
which was more prevalent 40 years ago. Now the physical stress is sitting in front of devices, staring at electronics, and and your job is sitting. You go from a sitting job to a you go and then get in your car, sit, and drive to your restaurant where you sit
Yep.
and eat the crappy food. But that's just all the
Yeah.
You see, those are
Yeah, it's a
lack
cycle.
of physical activity.
Yeah.
So that's the other stressor. And then you've got emotional stress, and there's no stress in this world today, right? Raise your hand if you had stress in the last 5 minutes.
Right.
I mean, it's around us, so it's epidemic. So physical stress on the body, emotional stress on the body, chemical exposure, toxic stress, okay, that would be, or toxic chemicals, excuse me, and we've already kind of spoke to some of them.
Yeah,
There's-
plastic.
yeah, or processed foods, or GMOs,
absolutely.
or you name it. I mean, microplastics. We actually have a supplement now, first one of its kind. It's actually the name of the supplement, my favorite thing, is called microplastic. Those are my favorite types of supplements. What's it for? I don't know. Microplastics, maybe?
It's in the title.
Yeah, but it's got a bacteria in it called Bacillus subtilis or subtilis, depends on how you pronounce it, and it eats microplastics.
Oh.
So you take the supplement, the bacteria eats all the microplastics inside your body.
Well, yeah, I mean, like,
It's just a
to
hormone
what-
disruptor. Go ahead.
right. Well, to speak to what you were talking about too, is like, you talked about the water, people's clothing, it gets washed, water gets recycled that way, plastic bottles, like you were saying. So there's just all kinds of different things that you get it. And absolutely, processed foods is the number one thing that I try to get my clients off first when it comes to just losing weight or feeling better about themselves. It's
crazy.
So
And that's why the SURF principle, simply eat real food.
exactly,
Right.
100%.
And the problem is they go to the grocery store and buy an apple.
Yeah.
Well, that's real, isn't it? Well, I don't know. Is it a number 9 or a number 8?
Yeah.
Right? Is it?
Yeah, the
Is
pesticide.
it is it 4 numbers, 5 numbers? Is
Uh-huh.
5 number 9 or an 8? And that determines all that stuff. So
I-
there's other things. That's GMO.
Exactly.
That has to do with organic. And if it's 4 numbers, don't put it in your body because it means it's pesticides and herbicides.
Yeah.
And, oh my God, so many things.
Perfect.
So
Well, let's
two
take
more
a
things.
quick.
Oh,
okay,
okay,
well, let's
great.
take a quick break. Let's come to that, and then I'd like to pick up from there because that's
Sure.
a really good conversation. So we'll be right back.
Greetings, everyone. We're glad that you joined us today. As you watch and learn, please remember that KUHS is an interactive platform, and we encourage you to engage at every level so that, number one, we know that you're appreciating the content that you currently enjoy, and number two, your feedback will help expand, grow, and improve our future programs. Again, thanks for being here.
Welcome back to KUHS Denver. This is Baltazar Villanueva with Midday Fitness. Dr. Ray is back with me. Dr. Ray, I know we were just speaking again off camera also, but please pick up with what you were just talking about. You said there were two other things after we were talking about eat real food, basically.
Yeah. So we talked about the stressors, right? Physical stress, emotional stress, and chemical exposure is the next one. Okay. So chemical stress on the body, and we were talking off camera. The sources are enormous.
Yeah.
I mean, we were talking about GMO food. So if you don't learn anything from this podcast today, learn this.
Yeah.
Okay.
100%.
If you got a piece of fruit in front of you, a piece of apple or something, got the UPC code on it. If it's got 4 numbers, don't put it in your mouth. That means it's got pesticides and herbicides all over it, which is toxic. Okay. If it's got 5 numbers, now you're better off, but it's also the worst possible scenario and best possible scenario. Okay. You have organic and GMO. Okay. Now, organic is number 8. Okay. All right. I was getting it backwards.
Or not, I think it's 9.
9 is organic.
I think it's 9.
Sorry, guys, I screwed up.
Yeah.
So we have our genetically modified organism. So the food has been genetically manipulated, not for the purpose of making it a better product.
No, just for mass quantities.
Its shelf life.
Yeah.
So now they can keep that apple on the shelf longer, and they can sell it longer and make more profits.
Yeah.
But organic, you can tell they're organic because number one, the label, but it's also got blems on it. It's starting to break down. It's decomposing. Because that's what food's supposed to do.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So that's the toxic chemicals. Okay. And then the last one, which we got this whole process started, was the EM, the electromagnetic exposure. We're sitting around all this technology, and this is affecting we're from a neurologic perspective. Essential number 2, we are basically a big battery, right? We have poles, stuff goes in, stuff goes out.
Yeah.
When you put magnetic fields interrupt that through your cell phone or through any technology, it disrupts that magnetic field.
Yeah.
And that's going to damage the nervous system, and that will impact what I call the subluxation loop. Subluxation means the bone is out of place. Now, those 4 things can create it. We can use EM as an example. That disrupts the nervous system. The nervous system can no longer signal the muscles to contract properly.
Right.
And so now the muscles can't hold the bones in place. They shift into misalignment subluxation, which damages the nerve, which then pinches the nerve, the muscle spasms, and you're caught up in this loop that you can't break. And that's what we fix, is breaking that loop to make sure we can reconnect the brain to the body. The body can activate all the resources it needs to be well.
I like that. Could you speak to muscle spasms again? I was also under the assumption too is a muscle spasm occurs when the muscle has been damaged, and you did say that. I took it more from the sense of like maybe you lifted something too heavy, or that it was like in combat sports or something or another caused the damage to that. Explain on the other side of it that you were talking about.
And I find this is like fascinating. Glad you asked me this. I love talking about it.
Yeah.
Muscles are made of 2 fibers, actin and myosin. And these babies, they just love each other. They want to hug all the time. And that's what happens when a muscle contracts, okay? Regular contraction. Now, what happens when there's electricity from the brain through that nerve with a connected nervous system, it pushes calcium between actin and myosin so they can't see each other. So they relax.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, this is what's crazy. If you want to contract your muscle, you have to turn the nerve off. So if you turn the nerve off, the muscle contracts, then you turn the nerve back on again and it relaxes. So that's how you get a muscle contraction.
Sure.
Now, if you misalign the spine and block the electrical signal to hold the calcium rock in place, it goes into what we call the rigor complex. Ever heard of rigor mortis? That's what's happening.
Yeah.
The rigor complex, and so everything spasms up. Now think about how intelligently designed that is. Because why? The brain is saying, hey, if I can't signal the muscles properly, I got to make sure that muscle is going to protect my beautiful nerve that connects to my heart. So I'm going to spasm to not let any problem get any worse.
Yeah.
So the spasm holds the misalignment. Now it messes with my job because the spasm now is a pain in the butt to deal with. So we have to use different technologies to relax the spasms so we can move the bone better. Every time we do an adjustment, there's 3 parts: mix, fix, and set. The mix is the warm-up. You got to warm up those muscles.
Yeah.
You wouldn't jump on top of a bench press and try 500 pounds, would you?
No,
Would
not
you
at
warm
all.
up first?
Yeah, that's a good way to tear a muscle for sure.
Exactly. So you've got to warm up, Then you're soft, and we move the bones in place. Now they're in beautiful alignment. I wouldn't send you down the road without tightening the bolts. So we're going to put you on vibration technology and specific body weighting to strengthen not phasic movers, not these, but the white fiber stabilizer muscles, the ones of endurance. Now they're both important, but if you start recruiting one for the other, that's where injury sets in.
Yeah. So I just have to throw this out there real quick. So any clients listening, you just heard it from someone else, you need to take the time and warm up rather than just jumping straight into your workout. I'm so glad that you mentioned that about the whole jumping in, just doing stuff. People do that all the time and it annoys the shit out of me. Because I'm like, you're going to hurt yourself. Well, I don't need to. No, you do. Or else we can never even progress anyway because you're just going to be stuck at a weight that you're most comfortable with. So,
and just remember, like you talked about muscle injury. We see a lot of auto cases, a lot of trauma cases because people get injured, right? And they tear those muscles. But think about what the body's doing again. It says, okay, I've got torn muscles, so that whole rigor complex sets up, and the damaged muscles end up creating spasms because of specific damage to the actual muscle itself this time. Okay, so now the actin and myosin calcium complex is disrupted. So now you get spasms from that. And again, this time you can't do heavy massage and relaxing techniques, which I advocate for massage as long as it's done before the adjustment. If you do it, just go get a massage and then go do your workout, you could injure yourself.
Absolutely, absolutely. That's why I tell people not static stretching before working out. You should be doing active
stretch. Exactly.
So before we end, because I know that we're running out of time, thank you so much. This has been super enlightening. I've enjoyed every moment of this. But I have a physical therapist that I do some work out of his office because they have it set up. He had made a comment one time saying that physical therapists can do the same thing as chiropractors without all of the popping. Is that something that you would agree with, or like what is necessarily the difference when it comes to physical therapy and chiropractics?
Well, again, physical therapy. Again, my opinion on physical therapy, and this may be contradictory to what a lot of people say, is like this with chiropractic. It's like hand in a glove, because we work together. If we just put aside I'm perfect and I know how to do everything. How about if we work together? Because I work on the stability of the frame. Well, guess what? So can they, and they can get some assistance and do a more focused attention in that realm. See, and there are physical therapists out there doing spinal manipulation. I'm going to use that term specifically because manipulation is different from a correction. Because what I do when I move bone A into slot B is making sure I'm moving the bone so I see the changes on the x-ray. Most chiropractors, and I would include physical therapists, osteopaths, and anybody moving bones, the majority of them, I call it pop and pray. Okay, I'm going to pop your bones and pray you feel better. But aren't they just applying the same principles? So that's just the medical model again. You go to the physical therapist, right, to crack your back to make you feel better. Well, that's not the model. See, that's managing mitigating symptoms, which is the failing medical model. And they want to pigeonhole everybody into that model, and it's just not true. Because I love it when patients see physical therapists, because it makes my job so much easier. Because they're helping the stability of the frame as I'm moving the frame in place. So it's perfect. Hand in glove.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think we in the health sphere with each other sometimes become too protective of our client and not wanting to lose that resource, that income-driven resource at times. And, you know, whether someone can utilize me or they need to stop and go see someone else for a while, I'm all for that because it's what makes the client themselves feel better and their health journey actually move forward.
Work together on health development.
And people will understand that too in the future is like if you lose out on that, they will always remember who sent them where, and that will always come back eventually to you in the field that you're in. So, Dr. Ray, thank you so much for joining us today. I really appreciate it. This was awesome. So,
thank you, man.
And where can we find your practice at?
I'm up on Thornton Parkway in Washington Street. From this location, I'm 7 minutes away.
Okay, awesome.
So, Thornton Parkway in Chiropractic Plus. Feel free to call me, 303-254-8430. KOChiropractor.com. Go to the website, schedule an appointment. I'll see you soon.
Yeah, right on. Thanks, guys.